For our appetizer, we had some fried coconut shrimp and some fried salmon nuggets with a mayo chili sauce as well as an apricot orange marmalade chili sauce. We have our beef flank short ribs with a demi-glazed gravy. We have our fried Cornish hens, a sweet potato ricotta casserole with some orange rum glaze. We have a 7-cheese mac and cheese, our Parmesan crusted honey baby potatoes, our chicken rice-a-roni, and our Brussels sprouts with turkey bacon and pear. Welcome to my chefing. My name is Chef Fran. This is my sous chef Ian.
How are we doing today?
And today we are doing our Thanksgiving series, week number 2. And so you have another alternative to turkey. And I think you'll enjoy what we have for you. So let's get into our vitamin content.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our appetizer, which is fried coconut shrimp. And our shrimp has vitamins B12, D, and selenium. And coconut flakes, vitamins B and iron. And then we have our fried salmon nuggets. And our fried salmon nuggets, we also have some made with cornstarch and as well as just some with coconut flakes as well. So our salmon has vitamins B6, B12, D, omega-3 fatty acids, and potassium. And accompanying it, we have an orange chili marmalade as well as apricot chili sauce and a mayo chili sauce. And so our apricot preserve has vitamins A, C, E, beta carotene, and potassium. And then we have our Cornish hens, our fried Cornish hens. So we didn't have a turkey to fry, we fried our Cornish hens. Cornish hens has vitamins A, B6, B12, niacin, thiamine, phosphorus, riboflavin, magnesium, and zinc. And we had coated and marinated overnight in buttermilk, which is vitamins B12, C, calcium, riboflavin, phosphorus, and potassium. And then we have our steak, our beef flank short rib steak, which is vitamins B6, B12, iron, niacin, phosphorus, and selenium. And we cooked it on our stovetop before we boiled it in some butter and rosemary and thyme. And rosemary has vitamins A, B6, C, and iron. And then we have our mac and cheese, and we have our corkscrew pasta, which is vitamins B, folate, niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, and heavy cream, vitamins A and calcium. And then we have our Brussels sprouts with turkey bacon, Brussels sprouts, vitamins C, K, folate, and manganese, turkey bacon, vitamins B6, B12, iron, niacin, and zinc. And then we have our sweet potatoes with ricotta, which is our sweet potatoes, vitamins A, B2, B5, B12, C, beta carotene, potassium. Ricotta cheese, vitamins A, B2, B12, and calcium. And then we have our roasted Parmesan crusted potatoes, and we have our yellow baby potatoes, vitamins B1, B3, B6, C, folate, magnesium, potassium, which also has our herbe de Provence, vitamins A, C, D, calcium, iron, and potassium. And then we have our sweet potato sausage muffin, which has our all-purpose flour, which has folic acid, iron, niacin, riboflavin, thiamine, and cinnamon, vitamins A and iron. And last, with our food, we have our rice-a-roni, and we have it's made with chicken broth, vitamins A, B12, C, D, E, K, magnesium, and then butter, vitamins A, B12, D, E, and K2. And our dessert is a pumpkin chocolate chip cookie, and we have our pumpkin puree that we use, vitamins A, B1, B6, C, copper, calcium, potassium, magnesium, manganese, and zinc, and chocolate chips, copper, iron, magnesium, and zinc. Real facts. 45 million Americans, including kids, rely on government aid for food. Sadly, 1 in 3 food insecure people are unlikely to qualify for government food programs. You can learn more by visiting us at jbhcdc.org. To make our coconut shrimp, I dipped it in some cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of flour, coated it in some eggs, and coated it in some breadcrumb that had some coconut flakes. And I pressed those breadcrumbs really firmly into the shrimp so that way it would adhere, and I dropped it in some hot oil and fried it. And to make our salmon nuggets, I did the same thing because I did some coconut salmon nuggets. I took some cornstarch, coated it up, put it in some egg wash, and then coated it back into the breadcrumb with the coconut flakes and fried it in some hot oil. And then to make our sauce, I just took some sweet chili sauce, mixed in some apricot preserve, and I did the same thing for the orange marmalade, mixed it with some sweet chili sauce. And for the mayo, I added some mayo to the sweet chili sauce so we can have those 3 sauces. Let's make our 7 cheese mac and cheese. Now, I use 7 cheeses. You can use how many cheeses you like. I use corkscrew pasta because that's what I wanted, but you can use whatever shape pasta works for you. And so I just boiled my pasta a minute underneath al dente. Reason being, because I wanted to still have that firmness when it comes out the oven with all that gooey, yummy cheese on it. And because of all that's going into it, I did not want it to be cooked al dente or cooked above al dente before it went in the oven, so it wouldn't be mushy and yucky. And so, again, I cooked my pasta just about a minute under al dente. I had put a little bit of olive oil so it wouldn't stick, a little bit of Himalayan salt and black pepper on it. I drained it, and then I added it into a big bowl where I had put a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. And in my skillet, my large skillet, I put some butter in there with a little bit of flour to create a roux. And once the flour was fully cooked, I added my evaporated milk and my heavy cream, and then I started incorporating my shredded cheese. I shredded my cheese because, like I said, they put like a film on the cheeses, and so when you put it on your product, sometimes it doesn't adhere and stick properly. And so I shredded my Velveeta, my white cheddar, my regular cheddar, my Kobe, as well as my Swiss and my pepper jack, and I put all these shredded cheeses inside this now creamy liquid I had on stovetop, and made a very creamy, cheesy sauce. And then I took all of that wonderful creamy cheese sauce and poured it on the mac and cheese and mixed it. I sprayed my pan and started with the first layer, which then on top of it, I had put some breadcrumb on top of it. That's how I like to do my mac and cheese. You can use the breadcrumb or not use it. And then on top of that, I had put some shredded cheese on top of the breadcrumb. And then I applied the last layer of the mac and cheese that was left in my bowl. And I repeated the process of putting some breadcrumb and then some shredded Parmesan on it, and added some more final yellow cheddar on top of it. And then I baked it in the oven on 375 for 30 minutes until it was GBD, golden brown and delicious. Let's make our sweet potatoes with ricotta. So I peeled our sweet potatoes and I cut them about 1/4 inch. Not that big at all, but with a tiny bit of thickness. And I, put them in a bowl. And then I had my maple syrup and my orange juice and a little bit of white rum. Mixed that liquid together. And I coated that over the sweet potatoes. And I let it sit for about 20 minutes. So all the flavors can start to marinate in it. And then I chopped down my pecans. And then I added a little bit of herb de Provence to it. And then I made a glaze out of the orange juice from what was left. I added a little bit of cornstarch to the orange juice, the rum, and the maple syrup. So that way it could thicken. And then I cooked it on the stovetop for a little bit so it could become a full glaze and the cornstarch would cook in it. And then I also, on the side, I took the ricotta, added some herb de Provence to that, and I added a little bit of the syrup that we had cooked, the maple syrup and the orange juice and a little bit of rum. I added just a little bit of that to the ricotta cheese to give it some flavor. And I lined up all of my sliced sweet potatoes on a pan, put that in the oven, and again, I cooked that on 400 for 50 minutes so it could become tender. So let's make our Brussels sprouts. So So I took 3/4 of a package of turkey bacon. I cut them down into strips and then across and cooked it till it was GBD, golden brown and delicious and tasty, of course. And I put that to the side and I sauteed some onions and some garlic. And as well, I put that to the side while Ian cut down. He cut the ends of the Brussels sprouts and cut them straight down. And then put that in a bowl. And then he cut our pears. It's just a regular pear I got, barley pear, and one whole barley pear. And he cut them down into strips so he can get, and across so he can get cubes. And he added that to the bowl with some olive oil, some Himalayan salt, some black pepper, some smoked paprika. And then he combined as well some dried cranberries with it and also the onions and the garlic that were sauteed, and just put that on 400 to roast for 40 minutes. Once that was complete, then we added the turkey bacon that I had cooked earlier and mixed that all in. And there we had our Brussels sprouts with turkey bacon and pear. Let's make a honey roasted baby potatoes. So Ian cut them in half and he added to our bowl that they're in some herbes de Provence, some melted butter, some olive oil, some Himalayan salt, some black pepper, some garlic, some fresh garlic, some red pepper flakes, some parsley, and some grated Parmesan, and mix that all up. Now, once we mix that all up, then he took one, each half, not the part that had the skin, the part that had the flesh, and he actually smushed it, pressed it firmly. Okay, maybe not the word smush, but hey, we could say smush too. Firmly pressed it into the shredded Parmesan and then put it back on the baking tray with that side facing down, the part that had the Parmesan cheese facing down on the tray, and baked it for 400 for 35 to 40 minutes. And there you have your Parmesan crusted baby potatoes once they're done. Let's make our beef flank steak short ribs. And so I use a skillet. You can use cast iron skillet, which is probably really the ultimate best. I put 4 tablespoons of butter, some fresh thyme and some fresh rosemary, and 3 cloves of garlic. And I allowed my meat to start steering on there. And the side that was not steering, I put some seasoning of some Montreal steak seasoning. And when that side was seared, I flipped it over and allowed the other side to get some seasoning. I kept on basting it with that butter and garlic and herbs, aromatics that was going through that butter to be on the steak. And I did that for about a good 7 minutes, about 3.5 minutes on each side. When I took it out, then I put it in the oven to broil for 15 minutes. Because for me, I like my meat fully done and cooked. Ian likes his medium rare. He says I always kill my meat, but I rather have my meat killed so I can eat it. It's to each his preference. I don't necessarily want to see that blood and see all that red. But this piece of baby steak here definitely wanted to show me that it could be red. Even though I broiled it and I cooked it on a stovetop, it still wanted to remain pinkish. Anyway, if you want yours cooked more, you'd have to give it more time broiling. If not, then you can eat it, medium rare. Let's make our fried Cornish hens. So our fried Cornish hens, I actually let it marinate in buttermilk for 24 hours. But prior to putting in the buttermilk, I seasoned it. I cleaned it with some lemon juice, rinsed that off to kind of get all the impurities and bacteria off of it from transport and so on. And then I fully dried it and seasoned it with some original Slap Your Mama seasoning, as well as some Montreal chicken garlic seasoning. And then I put it in buttermilk. and allowed to sit in the fridge for 24 hours. Once I took it out of the buttermilk, patted dry, I just left it to be just a little bit wet, not much, just so the cornstarch that I was going to fry it and could adhere to it, because I didn't use eggs. I used cornstarch to fry it. So I had the cornstarch, made sure it was fully immersed. And the cornstarch, I had actually put some Slap Your Mama seasoning in it, a little bit of black pepper as well in it, and a little bit of Himalayan salt, so the crispiness, the outside coating can have some flavor, so to speak. And I fully coated it and put it in the hot oil to fry up. And I had to let it fry up for some time, for about a good 20 minutes, 10 minutes each side. Now we're going to make our sweet potato sausage muffin. And so we're going to do wet and dry. So in our dry, we have our all-purpose flour, our cinnamon, our rolled oats, our nutmeg, our Himalayan salt, our baking powder, as well as our cane sugar. So I sifted the flour first. I didn't put the cane sugar with the sifter because it won't come out through the holes. So I just added that right on top of it once I was done sifting the flour. And then now for my wet, I have my eggs, of course. I have the sweet potato that I had boiled, and already mashed up. So that was part of my wet. I have my butter, my melted butter, and I have my vegetable oil, a little bit of vegetable oil, and my maple syrup. So I mixed both of them, whisked them both up actually to make sure that the dry was fully incorporated with the spices and that the wet was fully incorporated. And then I cut up my Jimmy Dean turkey sausage into small pieces. And then I mixed my wet into my dry. And I just whisked that up till I had this batter. And then I folded my turkey sausage pieces into the batter. And then we baked that in some mini muffin tins for 30 minutes on 350. Now we're going to make our pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. And so we're doing our wet and dry. And so we have our all-purpose flour that I've sifted for our dry with our cinnamon and pumpkin spice and baking soda. And then for our wet, we have some melted butter, some maple syrup, and some vanilla extract, as well as our pumpkin puree. So I've mixed both of them, the wet separately, the dry separately, and then I added the dry into my wet, mixed that. Once that was mixed, then I folded in my chocolate chips, and then the batter is like, it's kind of sticky, so your hands are going to kind of feel sticky, but it's fine. Don't flatten it. I took a little cookie scooper. Also, I use it as an ice cream scooper as well. And I just basically scooped it out, and I did not flatten it. Of course, it kind of flattened on its own. And just baked it on 350 for about 12 minutes. So, here we go. That's our pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Well, here we have done it again. So for those that don't want to eat a turkey, or they're not having that many people, or they just want to just do something new this year, or can't find a turkey, the last series we did whole chickens, and we did barbecue corned beef.
We
and
did.
So here we did a beef flank, short rib, and we have some fried Cornish hen, as opposed to frying a turkey. So
Exactly.
let's do it.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Enjoy your
Thanks.
coconut shrimp
Oh, yeah.
with your,
I like the salmon coconut.
Chipotle.
Those look nice.
the salmon coconut.
Yeah, salmon coconut.
I love Brussels sprouts, so I dug right into Brussels sprouts.
Oh, these Brussels sprouts.
I seven.
No, I've smelled some before. They're really good.
That is divine. Let me try the sweet potato with ricotta.
Flavor.
that. Mm-hmm.
That I haven't tried. I'll give that a little wing.
Nice.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'll try
Very
the
soft.
piece of my
Sweet potato.
Brussels sprouts is divine with my turkey bacon
There you
and
go.
some pears. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Can you have some, John?
Mm. This mac and cheese.
Oh, no, they good. They good thanks.
Mm.
But you know what I
Oh,
want
my.
to try?
Mm-hmm.
I love dessert.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a little of this with my.
You gotta have your little pumpkin, your chocolate chip pumpkin candy. It's nice and
Excuse me.
soft.
Oh, very, very soft.
Mm-hmm. You gotta taste it.
Wow.
Intense.
Intense. You don't have to bite, just
Mm.
melts right in your mouth.
You try my little muffin, my sausage, sweet potato muffin. Which is called my breakfast food. Mmm. Nice spice. I'm happy you're enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying
So
it.
here's our call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to click the like button by giving us a virtual hug.
Yes.
When you do that, though, Ian and myself know that you're enjoying what we're putting out for you. It encourages us to go back to our thinking lab and see what can we do that's more creative for you. How we thought about it's really a tough economy right now.
Sure.
And a lot of people
That's an
can't afford to
understatement.
do a big Thanksgiving or can't get a turkey, can't find one, or can't afford one. So here's some alternatives that I present that are a little bit more affordable and also that you could probably get your hands on more. From a whole chicken that we did to Cornish hens. Like, I know the Cornish hens are small, you're probably thinking, well, who's that going to feed? Well, to be honest with you, one Cornish hen, Ian and I split it.
Yes, we did.
You can eat it all by yourself if you want, or and have it
Split.
for a day or two, or Ian and I split it. So really, here we had 6 Cornish hens. In theory, you could have a family of 12 people come,
Easy.
maybe even
Maybe
15.
more. I think 15. would be
Yeah,
about
and
right.
you can feed them these 6 Cornish hens. They're affordable, they're good. Now I will tell you, of course, the price here side is the shrimp and the salmon and the beef.
Right.
But you don't have to do that. You can get whatever is affordable for you. You can make another appetizer. I'm just showing you options. I'm just showing you things that can be affordable for you or something different that you want to try. A different way of sweet potato, not your candied yams, not your whatever else that they do with, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Just
so
a-
it's like-
Yeah, the candied yams they
candies.
do, or with the marshmallow or the souffle. I'm just showing you different options. I'm just showing you. I love Brussels sprouts
I love Brussels
just the way
sprouts.
it is, but adding, of course, some turkey bacon flavoring or something definitely helps to make it more flavorful. But just showing you how you could jazz up your Brussels sprouts, for example. Potatoes doesn't have to just be regular potatoes. You can use red potatoes if you want, and make this. And you probably have Parmesan cheese at home if you make pasta. So just something creative that you can kind of do with it. And rice is just the box rice around they did. And the mac and cheese, you don't have to use 7 cheeses. I, love cheese, so I made 7 cheeses. But you can do your own mac and cheese, however many cheese that you choose to use. So I'm just, again, showing you different options. So, with that said, I want to
Okay,
thank you
Yes.
for hanging out with us today. I want to say, if you are new to this channel, welcome. But we welcome you here with open arms and great big hugs. And
Sure.
if you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the Chefin' family and subscribe. And share this channel with your family and friends.
For
Trust
sharing.
me, they'll thank you for it, and they will appreciate, especially now of different things that they can do, because sharing is,
Caring. Sharing's caring.
and we care. So we're sharing with you.
And be part of the Ma Chef and family.
That's right.
Please come along.
So thank you again for your time. We appreciate you. And come back and join us again soon.
Yes.
And if you want to know when we put out our next video, hit the bell notification in your mail.
There
Love you
go.
guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.